What's going on, guys? So we have an interesting day for you today. I think a day a lot of people anticipated. In front of you is the 2024 GMC Denali Ultimate Heavy Duty Pickup Truck. It's a 3/4 ton pickup truck as designated by the front badging right here. It's a really good looking truck too. Also, this truck comes equipped with the Duramax, a 6.6 liter, and it's also paired to a 10-speed Allison heavy duty transmission. Today we're going to be towing the Palomino Pause. Now, if you guys watched the last video I did where I was towing this, I actually towed it with our F450 and you couldn't even tell it was back there. But before towing it with the F450, we towed it with our 2023 GMC Denali half-ton pickup truck with a 3-liter LZO diesel engine in it. And I made several points throughout that video that I didn't feel comfortable towing it. There was no weight distribution or sway control setup, and before you get judgmental on that, at the time there was no hitch option available, and there still really is no hitch option for weight distribution and sway control with this if you're running this MIC hitch, unless you go to something super specialized, which I don't have access to. So they do make a compatible weight distribution sway control hitch. It's the Anderson if you get the chain extensions for it, but I don't have that. So what we're going to be towing this with today is this 3/4 ton truck. Now, this truck right here has a dry weight that's actually heavier than this trailer weighs dry, whereas the half-ton was actually a couple thousand pounds less than what this trailer actually weighs in a dry configuration. So it's going to be really interesting to see how you can tow this trailer with this truck, especially with no weight distribution or sway control. Again, because there's no way for me to set it up with one because I don't have one that would be compatible with the MIC hitch. But I don't think this truck's going to have any problem at all. Let's real quickly again take a look at the payload numbers and the capacities on this. Hang tight, I'll be right back. Okay, so when we towed this with our 2013 Denali 1500, the towing sticker on the side of our truck over here says that it has a total payload capacity of about 1,450 pounds and a conventional trailer towing capacity of about 8,800 pounds. The tongue weight capacity was 880 pounds. On this truck, we have a 2,971 pound cargo capacity, which means this truck has twice the cargo capacity of the half-ton. And then the towing sticker shows that this truck can actually handle a tongue weight, conventional tongue weight of 1,850 pounds and a conventional towing capacity of 18,500 pounds. So this thing is totally overkill for that trailer, which is how I like it. It's the safest possible setup you can get. A 3/4 ton truck paired to a very heavy, relatively short travel trailer, conventional towed travel trailer. Again, no weight distribution, no sway control. Let's look at the numbers on that real quick. So the numbers over here, again, if you've seen this, it has a gross vehicle weight rating of 9,459 pounds, but the dry weight is 7,545 pounds, 25 feet 2 inches long, and this transfers about 960 pounds worth of tongue weight to the back of the truck. We actually used a very accurate scale, if you saw that video, to show you exactly how much weight is transferring to the back of a truck. So about 960 pounds transferring right here, and you see how far this sticks out, and that's going to create kind of a lever arm in the back of the truck as well. So that's going to kind of increase that number, and it's definitely going to increase the leverage being applied to the back of this truck. But we're going to go ahead and get hitched up, and we're going to take off. Okay, so we are hitching up. Very different type of setup here. If you haven't seen the videos I've already done on this thing, in some ways it's easier, in some ways it's more difficult. It's definitely unique. Okay, let's get our chains in place. Well, didn't drop the truck down very much. I actually thought it would drop it down a little bit more than that. But yeah, 960 pounds of tongue weight doesn't really have much of an impact on this truck when you got, what, 1,900 pounds worth of capacity. All right, so we're gonna lift the jack completely. I'm using the remote, basically the app I downloaded on my phone. And then what we'll do is we'll get this on level ground, and we'll go ahead and add some air to the airbags in the back and get everything leveled out. Okay, so we got everything hitched up. Everything looks pretty dang level, to be honest with you. Still looks like there's a tiny little bit of a rake in the back of the truck, which is good. Again, the tongue weight on this trailer is about 960 pounds dry. So it's got a lot of weight up front. Overall weight's about 7,500 pounds as it sits. But this is a pretty dang good looking setup. What do you guys think of that? 3/4 ton truck, big Duramax engine, paired to a really cool off-road trailer. There's a 4-wheel drive truck. This trailer's made for a 4-wheel drive. Very cool. Got the Mick hitch on the back. Probably doesn't lend itself to the greatest, you know, sway-free towing experience, but I think this truck should be able to handle it no problem at all. Coming around back, just making sure everything is level side to side. There's a little slope to the driveway right here, so it looks like it's leaning that way a little bit. That's why. That is one heck of a cool looking setup. All right, well, we're gonna hit the road. We're gonna see how this thing tows. And one thing that's really cool about towing with this specific truck and having this rear view camera mirror is that you can kind of tell when the trailer is level. So we stopped real quick and just leveled everything out, made sure that the airbags on both sides were leveled out. It was hard to tell on the asphalt driveway, but now it's pretty much level. But we're gonna hit the expressway here in a little bit, and we will be able to give you better driving impressions and how this thing tows. Okay, so we are just getting onto the expressway. Speed limit here is 60 to 65 miles per hour. We have pretty light winds. It's not very windy today, but it's going to be a really good test to actually showcase what this truck's capable of doing with this trailer, especially once we get out to the beach where the wind is usually pretty high all the time. You get an offshore wind coming in generally between 15 and about 35 miles an hour pretty consistently, so we'll definitely be able to get a little bit more crosswind to see how it feels. So far, it's towing it effortlessly. I mean, I have my hand hovering over the trailer brake controller just in case, but not feeling anything strange. You can definitely tell it's back there. It's not as if it's so light that you're pulling something, you know, like a super light cargo trailer. We're pulling almost 8,000 pounds and we have 960 on the tongue. But, you know, like I've said in previous videos, this is really the right truck for this application. If you have a 3/4 ton truck, you have the weight. If it's a modern 3/4 ton truck, you likely have the horsepower and torque, and the suspension just doesn't really sag a lot under 960 pounds. Now, it's not to say as if we didn't have like crazy hard winds, would it still cause a little bit of instability? Probably at times, especially because, you know, there's no weight distribution or sway control set up on this specific trailer and truck as we speak. But you don't necessarily need one if you're very careful. And of course, when you hit those incredibly hard winds, if you're getting a 40-mile-an-hour crosswind, you do want to keep your hand around your trailer brakes just to keep things in line. My F450 is going to tow this a little different than this truck will, mainly because they got 4 tires on the back making contact to the ground, and it's a lot more difficult for any type of trailer instability to cause the tires to want to lose traction or want to sway, plus the longer wheelbase of the truck. But so far we're going 60 miles an hour, 61, no problems at all. And you know, typically when you tow an RV, I'd say 60, 65 miles an hour. It's about as fast as you want to go. And we are just approaching 65 miles an hour now. Not having any issues at all towing it. Like I said, this is really the ideal setup. 3/4 ton truck gives you the right amount of cargo capacity, the right amount of conventional hitch weight capacity, and the right amount of towing capacity. Actually, towing capacity is always going to be overkill in something like this. I mean, 18,500 pounds worth of towing capacity. That said, though, the tongue weight is what we're really focused on, and this truck has almost 2,000 pounds of tongue weight capacity, which really makes the 960 pounds being transferred to it a non-issue. But yeah, we're going to be on the road here for a little bit, head out to the beach and see how it performs. Okay, so we are we're experiencing, I'm not going to say sway, but we're feeling a little bit of the movement of the trailer. It's not very bad, and the truck itself is having no problem handling it, dealing with it, and pulling through it. I'm looking back in the mirror, and you can just slightly see the rear end of the trailer wagging just a little bit, but not much. It's definitely manageable, and like I said, it's not causing any kind of like white knuckle moment. It doesn't feel as if it's really, you know, causing any type of major issue. It's just something worth noting, and we're going about 65 miles an hour over the causeway here. Getting a little bit of a crosswind, but not too much. The winds are actually kind of dying out for the most part. But now it's towing completely smooth. So it really just depends. When you get a bit of a crosswind, you're going to feel a little bit, and that's mainly just wind interacting with the side of the trailer. And, you know, it's going to move a hair, and when it does, the truck's going to feel it a little bit, but it definitely wasn't concerning. It's not as if it was a scenario where I felt I had to slow down or even apply trailer brakes. It was just something worth noting, because I'm trying to be completely transparent and honest with you guys, and I want you to know from a credibility perspective, I'm not trying to give any truck a pass over another. It's just, you know, I'm letting you know how I feel, my impressions as I tow. Going around a little bit of a turn here. Still, everything's feeling good. And, you know, a lot of people ask, and I made this point in the last video where we were towing with, not the last video, the one before it, where we had the 1500 Denali. What do you do when you start experiencing sway? Well, what you want to do is you want to create tension between the truck and the trailer by maintaining the speed with the truck, a safe speed, and then slowly applying your trailer brakes, because what that will do is it'll actually slow your trailer down, and it will tighten the slack between them. There's not really slack, but it keeps the trailer in line with the truck. And that's ultimately what you're trying to do with the trailer brake. You really just want to control the trailer by applying the brake and then maintain speed with your truck. And it will get you out of a lot of sway situations. What you don't want to do is try to slow down too quickly. You don't want to try to use the brakes of your truck to control your trailer, because that could cause more instability. And you don't want to speed up and hope you can fight it. You basically want to maintain speed and hit that trailer brake and just ease into it until your trailer falls back in line, and then as a pairing, slow down together so you can go to a manageable speed to where wind's not impacting you as much. All right, so we are about to go over the bridge here. This is one of those moments that a lot of people don't care for, because the lanes get real narrow. And this is one of those areas when you got people that are passing by you, and as you get to the top of the bridge, it tends to get windier, and you want to maintain as much control as possible. From a power perspective, this truck has absolutely no issue towing this trailer. It's definitely well under the maximum capabilities of this truck. No issues at all. We slowed down a little bit just because traffic has slowed down. When we come off the bridge here, I think the speed limit drops to like 45 miles an hour. But this is certainly not the same scenario we were in when we were towing it with that half-ton truck. And again, wind plays a huge factor into it, because a scenario that might seem calm, nice, and relaxing 1 minute can definitely change to a very sketchy, white-knuckle, stressful towing experience whenever wind picks up tremendously. Right now, everything's really nice. It's a beautiful day outside. We do have some wind, but it's not very much. And if that were the case, again, understanding the lack of a weight distribution, hitch and sway control. Weight distribution is not a big deal. I don't need that at all for this. There's no weight distribution required when you only have 960 pounds on the tongue of a 3/4 ton truck like this. Sway control would be beneficial, but most sway control systems require weight distribution. It's the whole process of weight distribution and that weight that's created, which also creates the sway control. So it's difficult to find one without the other. Well, actually, it's a lot easier to find weight distribution by itself, but sway control without weight distribution is actually very difficult to find. The Anderson setup is actually pretty good at that, as well as that standard type of brake friction setup where you have to bolt it to the side of your A-frame, which is something I'm not going to do on this trailer. But again, this truck is more than capable enough of towing this trailer without the need of either. Even if the trailer starts moving a little bit, this truck just has the strength and the weight to keep it in line. All right, we're going to continue on, take it out to the beach itself and see how it does. We'll put this truck in 4-wheel drive. Again, really great pairing, 4-wheel drive Denali And the trailer itself has all the ground clearance, suspension, articulation we need to go over just about anything we would encounter. Okay, so we're out here on the beach. I apologize if there's any wind noise. Man, tell me that is not an amazing looking setup. 2024 Denali Ultimate HD Duramax towing a 2023 Palomino Pause. Absolutely gorgeous. If you guys want to see the inside of this RV, I've done probably 20 reviews on it, so I'm not going to do that in this video. This is all about towing impressions. I had an absolutely great time towing. Had no problems at all. The truck felt great. Nothing major to report. Right now we have some pretty heavy winds. I don't know if you're hearing it, but yeah, super impressed with this setup. Super impressed with how everything is leveled out, the overall look of the two together, and just its towing prowess. This is a really cool setup. I have to tell you that even when it looked as if wind was impacting the trailer a little bit, the truck had no problem pulling it back in line, and didn't have to apply trailer brakes or any of that at all. I think the only time I did it was just to demonstrate to my wife what you would do in the event you needed to. But yeah, this setup is absolutely amazing. Once they have multiple options for weight distributions, weight control, then it might be a little bit more doable by some other types of vehicles. 3/4 ton trucks are pretty dang common trucks, so it's not as if you get a setup like this, you're moving to a truck that's going to be very rare. It's definitely the preferred setup just because of that super high payload capacity, super high conventional towing capacity, really nice weight with the truck, the power, all of that stuff. It just plays into towing something like this extremely well, and it did a phenomenal job. But this is just an absolutely beautiful day. There's tons and tons of people out on the beach today, and we're gonna make our little camp out right here. Anyways, guys, I sure hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't had a chance, please take a moment, subscribe to the channel, give me a thumbs up, and we'll talk to you again real soon.